A very good afternoon. It's 2 p.m. Welcome. This is FESBC Market View, the Thursday edition. My name is Lungelele Makakula. Thank you for tuning in this afternoon. The Federation of Eswatini Business Community, FESBC, says all farmers under the federation will be trained on green businesses to ensure that their businesses are sustainable. FESBC's Chief Executive Officer, Ben Similane, had a detailed interview with business journalist Nelsi Wendlangamandla, and he shared how they are planning to help Eswatini by reducing carbon emissions by helping the small and medium enterprises to go green. During the COP28, Eswatini adopted its first economy-wide emissions reduction target by 5% by 2030 and 14% with financial support. And in our leading stories today, the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade says it is ready to come up with policies that will support the greening of businesses, and the Center for Financial Inclusion is conducting a study to determine how small and medium enterprises can be assisted by financial institutions who would be offering green loans in the future. And for our last segment, today, Senator Sbia will connect with us via Zoom for today's financial markets. For now, let's take a look at business news. And for our first story, the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade says it is ready to come up with policies that will support the greening of businesses. This has been said by the Promotional Officer, Pilsiwe Dlamini, during a training of different small and medium enterprise holders were trained on the importance of their businesses going green. The Federation of Eswatini Business Community organized the training with the Center for Financial Inclusion and the Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Trade.
The FESBC Association, it's an organization that is also looking at assisting the SMEs. So as government, within the policy unit, and we are not working like a standalone. We are working with the other stakeholders, which also include FESBC, which is mainly looking at the interest of the SMEs. So under this project, we are looking and we are expecting FESBC to assist SMEs as their mother body in terms of development. Since now we are in the current trends where we are looking at the issues of climate change, it is very empirical that SMEs are aware of what is happening, especially with climate change, so that they are able to transit and become, part of the greener economy in terms of maybe meeting the standards required in all the markets, whether regionally or internationally. And again, when we come to our local SMEs in terms of the smallholder farmers especially, which are the most and greatly affected due to the climate change, because in recent years they will normally rely on rain. But now with the climate change that has already had a negative impact, then we are looking at other ways of how we can curb, and that includes the issues of access to finance, because we remember very well that we are having difficulties when it comes to finance, especially agriculture, because currently they are not financing maybe the infrastructure, but I'm really glad that government has took the initiative and he is working on financing such activities. So with FESBC in place and playing a very role, especially to help SMEs to develop their businesses. So we are looking forward to work together, especially with this initiative that has been where we are being assisted by CFI, the Center for Financial Inclusion.
The Center for Financial Inclusion, CFI, is conducting a study to determine how small and medium enterprises can be assisted by financial institutions who would be offering green loans in the future. Manager of Financial Inclusion Strategy, Prudence MCB, says through the study, they wish to be equipped with information on how SMEs can be assisted as they seek green loans.
The Center for Financial Inclusion has been given a mandate by the Minister of Finance to coordinate access to finance and financial inclusion in Eswatini with a view of improving access to finance not only for micro and small medium enterprises but for individuals and households at large. So as the Center for Financial Inclusion, we are gathered here at the Mountain View to discuss a study that we are developing to assist MSMEs to transition towards a greener economy. And for us, actually, we are saying the issue of climate action is not only for maybe the Minister of Environment and Tourism or Minister of Commerce, Industry and Trade. We know that as MSMEs transition to the greener economy, they will need, of course, access to financial services and products so that they are able to transition to that economy. And for them also to review and their operations, they would of course also need access to finance to ensure that whatever they need to transition their operations so that they reduce the emissions and they contribute to the broader climate action, they would need to have access to financial services, going to the banks or even non-bank financial institutions to be assisted to get those green loans. And we are saying we cannot ignore this agenda because we know that as the government of Eswatini also and the financial sector regulators, they are working towards greening the financial sector. And as they green the financial sector, the banks will now, and non-bank financial institutions, they will develop green products. And we are asking ourselves as the Center for Financial Inclusion, who should be advocating for green products, we are asking ourselves if once the products are available, would the SMEs be ready to access those financial services and products? So that is what we are expecting the study to generate that information that will then be used for us as a country to ensure that we together as the various partners work towards assisting and hand-holding SMEs to transition to the greener economy. We are presenting the diagnostic study and the roadmap that will then detail the recommendations for the transition and highlighting different responsibilities for different organizations and institutions to ensure that we assist the SMEs, because for us they are that private sector that we believe will contribute to employment generation and will also contribute towards the broader development of the economy.
For international story, Nigerian invents crop disease detection drone as Nigeria struggles with food insecurity. Young Nigerians and startups are seeking to revolutionize the agricultural sector through technology. In the state of Kaduna, Shamdin Shibril invented a drone that can detect crop diseases.
In their small workspace in Nigeria's northwestern state of Kaduna, 24-year-old Shamsuddin Jibril and his team create drones designed to detect crop diseases and spray insecticides. A 2022 National Agricultural Survey showed that some of the country's farmers lost up to 80% of their crops to pests and diseases. Jibril says his startup company, Vora Robotics, is helping develop more efficient farming practices.
We use local available material to develop it in order to be cost effective. This is our manufactured local drone that we did. Our main focus is the agriculture. We are trying to see how we can bring the solutions to them and also to help them to detect diseases in their farm.
Jibril says that the drone takes photo of crops and sends them to an application he and his team created that analyzes and provides results within minutes.
On that app, it will show you the symptom of that and the treatment that you should do for that farm. And also it will tell you how the chemical you're supposed to use. Maybe, there's different type of chemical, acid defesticide or for the gas or insecticide for the insect.
In 2024 alone, ginger farmers lost over $7 million in crops to disease. Small-scale farmer Lawal Ibrahim Dambusha says the inability to detect crop diseases early put farmers at a major disadvantage.
If we could get a drone that detects crop diseases, it will help us a lot. As farmers, we don't really know much about diseases at the initial stage. We are more familiar with them when they become serious. Honestly, seeing how this machine flies and works, it is a great news to us.
Agricultural experts say the Nigerian government can do more to promote the use of technology in the agriculture sector. One of them, Ezekiel Bulus-Doka, says technology like the crop diseases detector can be a game changer in Nigeria's search for food security.
There are so many innovations that would have transformed Nigerian agriculture. But how those in authority, how do they accept it? And how do they push it forward? How do they fight for it to be scaled up?
Jibril and his team are hopeful that they will receive support from the government and the private sector to expand their innovation to the entire country.
It's 10 minutes after 2, and that's it for our business news. Stay tuned for Nelson's interview with Ben Similane.
Eswatini TV will be at the International Trade Fair 2024, bringing you exciting opportunities to connect with a wider audience and boost your brand visibility. ESTVA is offering incredible specials that include 5-minute on-location interviews, engaging viewers directly, spot advertisements, 30 seconds congratulatory messages, and much more. Do not miss out on this chance to increase brand awareness, generate lead and sales. Our details are displayed on the screen.
Welcome back. You're still watching Facebook Market View. This is the Thursday edition. The Federation of Eswatini Business Community, FESBC, says all farmers under the federation will be trained on green businesses to ensure that their businesses are sustainable. FESBC's Chief Executive Officer Ben Similane shares how they are planning to help Eswatini by reducing carbon emissions by helping the small and medium enterprises to go green. During the COP28, Eswatini adopted its first economy-wide emissions reduction target by 5% by 2030 and 14% with financial support. FESBC is playing its part in ensuring that businesses contribute to reducing carbon emissions. Journalist Nelson Ngamandla sits down with the Chief Executive Officer Ben Similane to find out how they are going to help SMEs as they go green.
Today, CEO, you are talking about greening business. Why is it important for small and medium enterprises to go the route of being green?
The government of the Kingdom of Eswatini ratified a Paris Agreement which emphasizes or commits the country to contribute in lessening the carbon emission, improving the environment, because the change of the climate is real. And it has, through the studies, it has been proven that the temperatures are going up each year. And if nothing is being done, there will be a time when agriculture will cease to exist because the weather is changing. So the main aim today is to involve the MSMEs so that in whatever they do, their businesses, their products, they incorporate the environment aspect in their businesses and lessen the carbon emission. We call it greening the business in that way. The SMEs are the backbone of the economy in Eswatini because they employ a large number of people, and there's no employment today if you want to apply for employment. Hence, we need to protect their businesses. They have a large role, and I will zoom into agriculture, which dominates some of the economic activities that we do. We find that some of them are involved in irrigation, and you find that they need energy in the form of electricity. And how we generate electricity, me and you know that they burn fossil fuel, which is not very friendly to the environment. Hence, we promote the greening. They can adopt strategies which will promote greening, such as using solar, using the sun, energy from the sun, which is a renewable energy. it will have a big impact in the future. Not only in lessening the cost, but also in protecting the environment. And also growing trees. Some of them are in the forestry industry. You know that a tree consumes carbon dioxide. It reduces the carbon, which again assists in the environment. Yeah. So there's quite a lot that they can do. And also we've come to create that awareness to them that even the financiers, the people who provide finance, the banks, are also taking that route. You may find that it's gonna be difficult to get a loan if in your plan you don't prove that you will be assisting in greening the environment. The markets, as we speak right now, overseas markets are very strict in knowing how you produced that. Did you incorporate environmental controls, that sort of thing. So for your product to sell, you must, whatever you do, you must green the environment. Yeah.
I want you, CEO, to talk to us in detail about how you are going to help the small and medium enterprises, because we know that going green means investing a lot of money. What are some of the things that they should do in order to, amongst other things, cut the costs?
Okay, you've touched on the nerve of the seminar that we have. This is a global phenomenon. It involves everyone around the world. So the direction that the world is taking now is that those with money, those with finance, are keen now to direct their funds towards greening the environment. So they are willing and able to support all those initiatives that talks about greening the environment. So you will, in future, you will find that some of the financial institutions will have to be accredited. And once you are accredited, then you will receive funds from overseas, where they borrow funds, and it will be easy. Right now, maybe I'm not in a position to disclose, but I'm aware that there is one financial institution in Swaziland which has already been accredited. And therefore, they will have access to funds, especially for those SMEs which are pushing the agenda of greening the environment. We are pushing the gospel of innovation. We would like business people, Bosoma business, to think, innovate, and come up with new ideas on how we can protect the environment. Circular economy, when you produce something, have that in mind, that whatever product you are producing, where will it end up? I'm producing this jacket, where will it end up? I'm producing a refrigerator, where will it end up? So we need to start thinking about where you can use the same thing. Once it's used, it can be recycled for something else, so that it doesn't get thrown away or create a nuisance somewhere. So we will be promoting that. Innovation is the answer going forward. People must think and do things that will promote recycling, that sort of thing, renewable energy, less carbon, and so forth. In fact, you may or you may not be aware that other countries which are unable or which have gone overboard in producing this unwanted carbon, there is an agreement now that they can buy, they call it carbon credits, And therefore, if you have those, if you accumulate those credits, I mentioned growing forestry. By growing forest, it can be calculated that you can have certain amount of credits up to a certain point, and then you can sell those. Those countries which are busy destroying the world, they can bring money to and buy those credits, and it will benefit the SMEs. Yeah.
I am from the conference CEO where you are conducting the workshop, and I have seen that the room is packed. It got me thinking, what criteria did you use to get those who will attend the workshop? I'm asking for the farmers who are in remote areas, will they be getting the opportunity to attend such a workshop?
Okay, it's a good question, by the way. We have organized, as a strategy within FESBC, we have organized ourselves into regions. We already have a region being organized. There's an executive committee for Ho. They meet regularly. They update their members on relevant information. The same applies to Lubombo. They are organized. We are about to organize Manzini. We're planning next week to assist them to choose their executive and organize themselves, and Shisolen next week. So by so doing, we were able to communicate with the regions, and we share when there is information that requires them. And in that way, they were able to organize themselves. We shared that we need people to participate in this initiative. And there was a big appetite. The numbers were huge. We had to stop some of them from coming because even now, if you can go inside there, the house is packed to capacity. So there is hunger for information and change, and we are quite excited.
It's very interesting, CEO, that you are touching the issue of carbon credits, because we have seen Eswatini, the central bank, the Financial Services Regulatory Authority, signing an agreement with Taiwan on the issue of carbon credits. But moving away from that, I just want FESBC to tell us how you are going to be assisting the farmers in the long run as they go green.
Well, the only thing I can say is that let's move together. Bongo Bosoma Business, we would like to help one another. FESBC is there for all business people. They must come and join, and we will push this agenda together, help each other so that they also achieve their objectives, attain their goals, and that would be our delight as well.
The information that you have shared, CEO, is very critical. We wish you the best as you ensure that small and medium enterprises in the country stay sustainable.
That was Nelsie Wentangamandla having a detailed interview with FESBC CEO Ben Similana, sharing how the Federation will help SMEs go green. We now want to connect with Mr. Sbia for today's financial markets. Welcome back and very good afternoon, Mr. Sbia. Thank you for joining us on the program today. What's happening in the markets? We saw that yesterday the inflation rate was released in SA with currencies. What is going on in the markets today?
Good morning, Lulu. Thank you. So what we are seeing is, general weakening of the domestic currency in terms of against all major currencies, that is against the dollar, the euro, and also against the Japanese yen. So all that comes in the background of increasing the probability of an increase, a decrease in the interest rates in the US. So what that means is, we are most likely going to see trade take a route. We are going to see investments in more US-based stocks, and then we are also going to see some of those changes coming in to affect the market. That includes, improved exports and improved imports domestically. That's what markets are basically responding to today, Lulu. The likely news of a cut in the interest rate in the US.
Yeah, perhaps if we
Thank
could
you.
move on to commodities. We saw that gold was also, it also gained strength this week, particularly yesterday. What's happening today?
What we are seeing with gold is it's when you look at the prospects of an interest rate cut in the US is basically now 75% or more or less. We know with markets saying it's a done deal. That's why we're seeing gold losing a bit, but barely changed, but just losing a bit purely because we are looking at an interest rate cut in September, and we're most likely going to see shifts from equities such as from commodities such as gold into equities. As we move into that season, and hoping that the retailers are then going to pick up, and then also business activity is going to peak. So what we are seeing in terms of the price of Brent crude has actually stayed relatively at modest levels of 76, but continuing to inch up as we are seeing, the Middle East crisis. We've been noticing how our Benjamin Netanyahu continues to say, I'm not going to stop the war until Israel's objectives of starting that war have been attained. And then there's also the issue of a summer or a winter boom with the interest rate cuts, increased demand. That's what we are seeing oil do or acting the way it is acting. And then probably if we move into the US markets, what we are seeing there is a continued upbeat, even though it is slowing down. That's purely because we've seen the minutes come out of the previous Federal Reserve Bank meeting. So those minutes have been reviewed, and those minutes do show that the Federal Reserve Bank, over 75% of the committee members there do signal that we are going to see an interest rate cut in September or thereabout. The mood has been changing from that hawkish to a more from that hawkish to a more dovish, and now to a more relaxed type of environment. And then that's why we're seeing the Nasdaq gaining up to 102. S&P 500 continues to make a record at 5,720, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average continues to impress. But then when we move into the European markets, what we're seeing there is European markets are performing relatively well. Even though when we are looking at business activity across Europe, it does show signs of slowing down. If you look at the Purchasing Managers Index coming out of London and out of Germany, they all show that there has been a significant, business is contracting, but it's the rate at which it is contracting is now slowing down. So we are starting to see the impact of the cuts in the interest rates, because the European markets have actually already started cutting their interest rates, and then that's what we are seeing. And the market remains upbeat because we are waiting to hear Powell, the Federal Reserve Chair, address a gathering at Jackson Hole tomorrow, and that's going to give a clearer direction in terms of where the US is going to go regarding its monetary policy stance. So the market is waiting to clean through those hints that he'll be giving out tomorrow. And then when we look into Asia and Asia Pacific, we see that mainland remains in a relatively weak position. That's mainland China. If you look at the Shanghai Composite Index, it has actually lost quite a few points. Interestingly, though, what we are seeing is Japan has climbed back to the 38 region. That's where we were, if you look back into the market analysis trend, that's where we were, say, around May-ish or something, after we lost, moving from that 40 region. So now it seems the market has recovered to pre that bullish session. So that's good news. We're also seeing that the impact of what the Japanese government is doing in terms of showing up the market or is actually paying out. And then in mainland still continues to face some capital flight. There seems to be an issue with international investors then longer looking into Chinese stocks, and that's why we're seeing Hong Kong and mainland China really not doing well. And if you look into Beijing, you can see that they haven't been to the 3,000 mark in a very long time. And then moving on into South Africa, we're seeing South Africa remaining upbeat to the positive inflation news that was released yesterday, still within the band and inching a bit down closer to the midpoint. And at the same time, we are waiting to hear those prospects and from Jackson Hole tomorrow. So overall, it's been a good day on Wall Street, and markets have actually climbed to an all-time record, to a new record, a record never before seen in South Africa. We are at 84,550, and then on the domestic market, we are still at that very same level with the Eswatini Stock Exchange, with no changes at all, even in today's trading day. Thank you.
Right, thank you for that analysis, Mr. Spear, for today's financial markets. We've come to the end of our program today. This was Facebook Market View. We'll see you again on Monday at exactly 2 p.m.